Internet. What's up, Internet? How you doing? It's Monday. It's Monday, everybody. How you doing? What's going on? What's happening in your neck of the woods? We got things going on here. We got things going on here in my neck of the woods. Hopefully, everything is going great out there. I don't know what is going on. I think this microphone arm is gonna... I think it's gonna break soon. I don't know. It's having issues. We shall see what happens. Yeah. Sorry about that. Got to move the camera a little bit. It's a little weird. I don't know what it's doing today. What's it? Oh, there's another camera in the background. There we go. Sorry, guys. Had to move the camera a little bit just because, you know. Just because that's life. You know, life in the fast lane. Surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. All right. It's kind of funny. I did realize that Friday's live stream, it cut the beginning off. I don't know why. I'm wondering if it's going to cut the beginning off here again. I don't know. Kind of funny. From the Friday show with Jay. If you guys didn't see the Friday show with Jay, I thought it was a pretty good one. We got a little rambly. We got a little out there. We talked about some stuff. I thought it was pretty good. Hopefully I can have him back. Hopefully I can have him back pretty soon. You know, hopefully we can have him back, and hopefully we can have him as a regular guest. We shall see. John Ward is here saying happy April Fools. Good to see a member up in the chat. I see some other members up in the chat also. Mellow Moogle just posted, check out the Patreon. I feel like I'm having the ultimate in April Fools today, because if you guys don't know what the Patreon is, that's the fan funding like third party website for those of y'all that like to be on there. There are a few minor perks on there. You definitely do get you get some extra posts. You know, we have a community there where we post stuff. We talk about stuff on the Friday shows from the Patreon page, where the community posts, where people can post up their community posts on there. But I feel like I'm getting the ultimate April Fools today, because the Patreon, when it processes all of the first of the month, that's how it works. It's like on the first of the month, people it charges once a month, just like if you were sponsoring like NPR or something like that. And you can always do a one-time thing on there too if you want. I know some people that popped on and did it once, and then they were like, yeah, I'm out. But I feel like I'm getting the ultimate April Fools today, because when it processes, a bunch of people's credit cards may or may not be working, or for whatever reason. Like, I think the most common thing is that the date, you know, like the expiration date comes into the into play, and then like nobody updated it, and then they don't update it, so then like Patreon boots them out. Well, it doesn't like boot them out, but it takes them off from the thing. So I was like, you know, I checked the Patreon yesterday because I had posted up on there about a project, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But I checked on it. I was like, wow, man, we're up to 292 people on Patreon, and of course now I don't have it open over here. Where did it go? Why do I not have it open? I figure, man, I almost always have it open on this computer, because this is the one that I normally respond to stuff, and then it dropped down to 278. So it dropped out a whole bunch of people that maybe their credit cards expired or whatever. I don't know, but I feel like I'm getting the ultimate April Fool's today, because I was like, one of the big things that we've been talking about over the last day over there, I had posted up a possibility for what I think Stephen Pope did a great way of explaining it after a lot of back and forth, like comments and stuff like that, where people are like kind of excited about it. Like maybe people don't understand what the theory is. So I'm going to try to explain it here without really having any visuals other than, most people have seen a video or two from my fish room. And even if you happen to see from my fish room, like someone else shot the video, I think a good example of that would be Lucas Bretz. Lucas Bretz was here, and he shot a video of my fish room. My fish room is really small. It's really tight, which is fine. It's fine for me. It's not a big deal. But it's not the greatest for filming, which is one thing, which is also not a big deal, because that could be worked around. But I feel like long term, if I continue to do like building out more and more and more stuff here at my house, I feel like long term it's not a great move, like for the long term thing, and I'll bring up a perfect example. You guys know that I work with Aquarium Co-op. Aquarium Co-op is an affiliate sponsor here. I'm very privy to a lot of the ins and outs. I helped rebuild his fish room at his house, at his shop at his house. And that would be a perfect example that, like, Corey is he's a big personality online and stuff like that. Obviously his channel is a million times bigger than mine and all that, which is fine. But I think like one of the problems is that you either have to fly out to like some kind of convention to go like see people or whatnot, or there's like a local convention, or maybe like a fish club meetup, which those are great to go to, and I'm more than happy to go to those. But I feel like some of the projects that are actively being worked on you don't like ever get to see them. You know what I mean? Like, so Corey'd be a perfect example. I just mentioned Lucas Bretz. He's got a ton of tanks at his house and stuff like that. And the thing is that like the more and more renown you get or whatever, like the less and less people you would want at your house. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking in the more long-term goals here as time moves on, and as things are, as things like slowly progress and stuff like that, so it's kind of one of those things that I'm thinking in the long term, that if there's a space that people could come to and actually see some of the projects that were actually worked on, it's like I feel like more people being able to like stop by and check out my 240, or maybe they need some, maybe they want to see some stuff. They want to see some of the stuff in person. Maybe they, maybe like on a Thursday night, like 10 people are in town, right? Like maybe they're just in town from Sacramento or something. And it's like, oh, we wanted to come by the fish space, and it happened to work out, that we're in town, right? And you guys you're there for office hours or whatever, right? It's like I would be there like aquascaping or whatever, and people could come by and check out some stuff, or there could be like a more presentation type thing, that you could do, or that could be done, or stuff like that. And I think Stephen Pope, I think, put a good title on it. Is it more like where did it go here? More like a Makerspace. You know what I mean? So I feel like a space that could be collaborative, but also fans and stuff could be able to show up. You know, people that are maybe new to the hobby and there isn't anywhere for them to go. There isn't that many places to go see, you know, planted aquariums or something like that. So I almost feel like if I could start, you know, if I set up a space and I could start taking, like, I could take the 150, I could take a couple of the 120s, I could take the 240, set them all up. You know, I could set them up and, you know, have a small, you know, maybe it's just like a little storefront space. So I had posted one of the listings that I found that's kind of near here, you know, and it's kind of looking to be one of those things that is about, you know, from looking at the math and kind of crunching some of the, you know, the rent, the triple net, the utilities, the build outs, you know, obviously the build out isn't that crazy because I would do a ton of the labor, plus a bunch of people have already emailed me that are like super stoked for it. So it's like, hey, can you come hang some drywall? You know, that kind of stuff. Hey, can you grab this paint roller and paint this color on the walls? You know, that kind of stuff. I don't think the build out would be that crazy, but looking at it operational wise, I think it's probably right around the like $2,500 a month is what it's kind of looking at, you know, because it's about $1 a square foot. Most of the places that I've been able to find are sort of at that minimum. Like I think even the smallest place that I could find was like 1,000 square feet, which is fine. 1,000 square feet, you could fit a ton of stuff in there. You got to think, guys, that's like two car garages, you know, is basically 1,000 square feet. It's even more than two double car garages because a 2-car garage is typically 22 feet by 22 feet. And if my math is wrong, I think, hold on a second, let me see. 22 times 22 equals 484, right? Yeah. Okay. Somehow I was going to be correct. Sometimes you bring in the robots, man, and they prove you to be right. So yes, it's so if you had like two-car garages basically connected plus some extra square footage, you know, because it's obviously not going to be, you know, it's not going to be 22 feet by 44 feet, although it might be, because often you see like strip mall slips are about that size, like a small store. And Cyrusson says, wow, $1 a foot. Well, I mean, $1 a square foot per month is pretty typical for anything that is at least rated to, and I say this with air quotes, be a commercial space, because that's what you'd want. You wouldn't want to get something that isn't allowable to be a commercial space, because you'd want to be able to host and have people come by. And if you had a space that was like only industrial or only manufacturing, I don't think that you could have like small events, you know. Maybe I wanted to do a Saturday, you know, potluck barbecue brunch thing or something. I don't know, some kind of just, hey, people come out, bring some food, and we'll hang out and you know, talk about spiderwood or whatever, you know, whatever weird stuff that could be going on. You know, so you'd want it to be a commercial / retail space because of that. Also, you'd want to have parking and stuff like that. About $1 a square foot's what it's like down here. If you get up into the Seattle area, it gets into $3 a square foot, $4 a square foot, $5 a square foot up north. I'm in Tacoma, Washington, as one of the places that I posted. I forget who, and I don't want to misquote anybody. Oops, I'm having troubles moving the chat around today. I don't really know why. Oh, and now it grabbed. I think this mouse is dying, you guys. I think I've done too much. Mousing with it. I think it's dying. I didn't want to misquote somebody, so let me go grab it from over here. Oh no. Why is it not loading? Do 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 do. Yeah, because one of the spots that I looked at was 22 by 48 square foot. Not very far from the freeway, so pretty easy to get to. And, oh, where did it go? Where did it go? So Frank Factor actually said not bad, and only 40 minutes away from SeaTac. So if you flew in, it's about a half an hour, 40 minutes if, from the airport, if you flew in. So I don't think it would be that bad. Where'd that go? I saw somebody said something about Fife. Where did it go? Somebody said something about Fife. Where did it go? Do 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 do. Where did it go? The Fish Tank Barn says, "Is your building in Fife? You won't get stuck in traffic." Well, it would be down here in Tacoma, so there's always a traffic concern out here. But if you flew in and it's not like traffic hour, you know what I mean? If it's not like the crunch, then it'd be about a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, depending on whatever, making some turns and stuff like that. But I think if it was in if you start to get into like towards Seattle, it gets so expensive that it's just pretty crazy, you know what I mean? So it just would be impossible to do anything like that. Ken's asking, am I close to Aquarium Paradise? Yes, I am close to Aquarium Paradise. And that is the one thing that has crossed my mind. A lot of people have brought up, like, why don't you just go in with a store? Like Aquarium Paradise is a place that does have like a lot of space there, and they are doing a lot of things and stuff like that. Now, here's the problem. If I go in with a store, there's an expectation that somebody would be there to sell things, right? Answer questions, provide service, talk to people all of the time, because people would constantly be in there, right? I am not a retail guy. I don't have any intention on being a retail guy. As a matter of fact, like, I have an affiliate sponsor with Aquarium Co-op, because Corey and Robert and Randy and Justin and everybody else that works at Aquarium Co-op do a million times better at doing retail than I ever even could. Right. So not only do we have, a great sponsorship relationship, working relationship, all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't have a plan on doing retail stuff. So if I tried to go into a store, almost any store owner would be like, you got to be bringing in traffic. You got to be doing this. Like, why don't you make some sales with these guys and that kind of stuff? And that could always be problematic with anybody's business, especially somebody's business that has been running for, I don't know, however many years or whatever they've got going on in their head, and it's the exact same thing that, like, when I'm at Aquarium Co-op, like, I'm not talking to customers. I'm not trying to sell people on stuff. That's not my job there. My job there is to fix things, make repairs. Like I had to, drill and plumb in a new tank the other day when I was up there because one of the production tanks was leaking. That's not my gig up there when I'm up there. My job is there to, swing a hammer, do the stuff that needs doing. And that's the whole reason I even make the trek to go up there. So I'm not a retail guy. It's not my job to like sell stuff to people, and I'm not that great at it. I'm not that great at it because I look like Jafar from Aladdin. I look like Jafar from Aladdin, and the guy from Breaking Bad had a kid. I'm like, let's be honest. That's kind of the deal, right? What's the guy's name? Dang, I can't remember the guy's name. Because he changed. What was his name in the Breaking Bad? I can't remember. I don't know. They had a crazy name, but it's like if Jafar and the guy from Breaking Bad had a baby, you know, like that's what I look like, man. And it throws a lot of people off. You know what I'm saying? It throws them off their game. They don't know what's going on. There's like there's this guy and he's trying to tell me about something and I'm all freak out now. Sorry about that. I had to throw away some garbage that had accumulated here, and as I was talking, slowly all collected into my hand. So, you know, I think one of the big things that if I was to open this space, I would continue to do the affiliate thing and let you guys know that, hey, these are the products that you can get from Aquarium Co-op, or here's the products that you could get from Amazon, or this or that, or any of that kind of stuff, right? You know, I that's exactly what I would 100% stick with that same game plan. It's like, oh, maybe you could go to you know, maybe you could check out a link on Amazon and you could order it up and get it delivered to your house. You know, because another one of those things is that, like, you know, then, you know, you could easily run into the problem of like, and here's one of the issues that I have. So I ordered some plants. I don't know if you guys remember. I ordered some plants from somewhere that was not the Aquarium Co-op. And the reason that I did that is that I wanted to see what some other people's customer service was all about. I wanted to see what some of these other aquarium plant companies are doing online. And you know, what's happening with these aquarium plant companies, like what are they providing? Because why is it when you go onto their website, they have so many plants on there and stuff? They have this giant list, right? And you go ahead and you order something, and then they send you an email to tell you that they don't have it, you know? And I started to realize that there are a lot of aquarium plant companies out there that are not housing anything in there. You know, they don't house any of it. All they do is have a wholesaler's license, right? They have a wholesaler's license, and they have a website up there. You go and you order something, and then they have these like really strict cutoff day, right? Where they're like, oh, if you don't order by Wednesday, we don't ship that out until next Thursday, right? And I had this explained to me recently because it's a supply chain deal, right? That's why, like, most of these sites that you go on to have this hard cutoff day, right? Is because what they do is they collect all the orders, right? Then they place their order for what the orders that they took with a wholesaler, right? Then the wholesaler sticks them in the mail. Then those guys receive them, put them in another box, and ship them out to you. They don't have like a follow-up time to be able to, you know, like let people know if the wholesaler's out, because you have basically they have no conversations with the wholesale people. The wholesale people just send you a box of something, right? And you're like, oh man, they didn't even put any panda cories in here. Like, what happened? And then you go look at the order sheet and it's just like out. Like, we don't have those. And it really started to click in my head when when Robert and Randy were up there shooting a new unboxing video for the Aquarium Co-op, is that because I was talking with somebody about that before, and they were like, yeah, because the wholesalers will sometimes short you on a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, because, you know, you'd like open up a box and you'd be like, where's the salt and peppers? Where does salt and pepper time? Oh, they're not here. They got outed, you know. And then it's like there's no communication. They just sent you a piece of paper like, we sent you the stuff that we sent you, you know. And so then I started to realize that, like, there's not that many people that are doing the same kind of stuff. And because the reasoning behind it is they don't have like a big plant, you know, conversion type place like Corey does at Aquarium Co-op. I built a part of it, so I'm aware of how big it is. And it is shoehorned in there, and it's going to get bigger, by the way. And that's one of those things that, like, I think realistically, if I was doing customer service in that kind of deal, I think I probably would have been like, oh, that's just how you do it. Like, you just order from those guys, and then you repack them, and then you just send out the orders. Because oftentimes You know, it's like buying seedlings for your garden, and you realize like you go buy, 40 tomato starts for like, $30 or even $20 or something like that. And you're like, I got all these plants for like nothing. And it's like, well, that's what the wholesalers do. They do that same deal. They send them out, for like whatever the price is. And then those people that are reboxing them and sending them out, they didn't even have to convert them. They didn't have to clean them. They have to do any of that kind of stuff. And obviously, I don't think even Aquarium Co-op has 100% track record. Sometimes he has to, I know every once in a while, they have to just fulfill the orders and send them out to people. But I know that they'll send out the emails and let people know and stuff like that. So, I just think, the reason I was talking about that whole stuff, I guess to maybe bring it back together and not just be a crazy person talking into a microphone. The reason I bring it back together is like I don't have the inclination to become a retail guy, because at this point, those kinds of things, that's the kind of stuff that Corey and Randy and Robert, they're already thinking about that kind of stuff. I'm thinking like, how do I farm more things? How do I build a system that rotates and turns over water faster so that I can move water over here and maybe inject some CO2 a little bit better to supply to tank 9? Like that's the stuff that's always in my head, is like, how could I preserve one less piece of plywood to build this rack so that we could actually just use less materials and it be as strong as it was before? And we just, we're just not using as much stuff. We're not creating as much waste to do the same thing that we were doing. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe if I build it this way, maybe if I throw in a miter joint here with some kind of weird dovetail connection, like maybe how much stronger is that compared to the other one? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we all have our strong suits, and one of my strong suits is definitely not retail. I was a chef for a million years, and I used to have to go out on the floor and talk to people, about their food. And, I mean, I could put on the smiley face and act all fake. You know what I mean? Hey, guys, how you doing? That's nice. Good to see you. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, it's cool. All right, see you later. I can do that kind of stuff. It just feels really super disingenuous to me. And, I would rather just be the kind of person that's like, hey, I'm happy right now, and it's kind of obvious. And then if something makes me really unhappy, it's kind of obvious too, and I could just continue to live my life that way, and just keep rocking and rolling. I see a bunch of people talking about bonsai trees. What's going on here? Let's see. What do we got here? Simplicit says, I bought a lead bunch of Ludwigia palustris from Boost Plant. I think it's Ludwigia arcuata, as it's growing thin leaves. That's definitely possible. I would, if it's growing real thin leaves, it probably is arcuata. It is very confusing to, figure out the immersed, above water grown versions between those two specifically. The arcuata grows a little bit wider up in the air, and the palustris grows a little bit thinner up in the air. So I wouldn't think that's that far off to get super confused on those. And that's another reason I don't buy bunch plants. If I see somebody is selling plants as a bunch with a lead weight on it, I don't buy those. I don't spend my money on that stuff, because I'm like, make a conversion, put it in a pot, do something more than just... Because the way that works at those farms is that the plant grows up, right, above the water line. They trim it off, put a weight on it, or put a weight, trim it off, one or the other, and then take that and throw it into a box. And they just go along and do that with a bunch of them. And they're like not even prepared at all for to convert to grow underwater. So, and that's not 100% of the time or anything like that, but it kind of freaks me out that's going to happen. I've had it in the past. I got burned so many times on bunch plants from so many weird places that I ordered them from wholesalers to individual sales, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And it just drove me nuts to get a big bunch of plants, try to convert them, and they all just melt off and die and just turned into nothing. nothingness. So I've had that happen, and that sucks. Joel G says, I guarantee Joel would get like a 99, 100% for openness to experience on a Big 5 personality test. Yes. The last personality test I had was pretty funny. I think the results were pretty hilarious. I had to take a comprehensive personality and IQ test for... it's just... Okay. Let me backpedal here a little bit. So we had to take a big personality test thing and an IQ test thing, which, by the way, it took all day. It was like 4-hour tests on each one. And it was for a company that I worked for that they wanted to do all this comprehensive testing to find out basically we could get lower rates on our insurance. It's super weird, but because if all of management took all these tests, we could get a lower rate on vehicle mechanical insurance and health insurance and something else. And so the district manager, we had a little bit of money on the line, if you know what I'm saying. Basically, like, not necessarily Christmas bonus kind of money, but a good amount of money on whoever scored higher on the IQ test. And I won that bet. So I'm not worried about it. But I think the personality test was kind of funny. I think overall results were pretty darn funny. I would admit. Let's see. Had brisket at the airport in Texas. Worst ever. Ooh, man. I had some brisket. It's delicious. Actually, I had brisket for lunch today. Believe it or not, we had some leftover brisket. And Vicky left it in the fridge, so I ate it. All right, let me see. They give you a lollipop. Let's see. There's a bunch of people asking about bonsai, and then now I'm not even think I see it. The bonsai tree things have been created from different pieces adhered together. Let me see here. I think somebody mentioned that Mr. Stu, anyone know of a good place to get a bonsai driftwood tree from? And then I think somebody answered. I think somebody answered that Flip Aquatics had those. Yeah, and I've seen Flip Aquatics has those and whatnot. People are asking about the bonsai trees, and I have seen the bonsai tree stuff coming up. They are pretty cool and whatnot. But yes, the bonsai things are definitely made out of pieces of driftwood. So it's not one individual thing. If you're looking for a driftwood bonsai tree piece, those ones that you see out there are a bunch of pieces of driftwood stuck onto a piece of driftwood, for lack of a better way to explain it. That's exactly what they are. They do look really cool, and if that's your thing, I am more entertained by making one myself, though. Is more kind of my thing. But if you're not the kind of person that wants to get out a Dremel and the glue and pick out your pieces and do all that kind of stuff, then it's all good. It's all good. Jonathan Chong says that test seemed weird. It was weird. But it was a significant amount of savings off of our insurance rate. It was basically like, I think we could pretty much hire another guy if we all took that test. The basic test that we did with the standard workers, the non-bosses, was much easier. It didn't take that long. It was like an hour long, something like that. Mr. C said, I finally catch a live stream and my phone goes dead. Point taken, S9. I will put you on charge. Catch a few Z's before work and watch us tomorrow. Keep up the good work. Catch you next time. Oh, sorry to hear that. But we do have something cool here. Paul Jones is a member again. Paul Jones is back. Paul Jones is back on the membership tip. If you didn't see that bright green banner that popped up there, I thought Paul Jones was a member before. I'm guessing they fell prey to the updated the credit card updates. That'd be my guess if I had to guess. But Paul Jones, a brand new member, and you know, a lot of people have been asking like whether or not you're supposed to be a member or if you're supposed to be a Patreon or any of that kind of stuff. It's just easier avenues for people to support if you want to support. You know, if there's some of the projects that I got going on and you want to help support them and continue them going, like doing this show with more guests. You know, as you guys know, I'm building a studio in the basement so I can do so we can do more stuff with more guests and make it better. I've been getting dings in my forehead like this, doing stuff in the basement, working down there, and it's coming along. I posted a picture of Vicky wearing her anti insulation outfit because she was like, I don't want to get the fibers on me. It's fiberglass. And hey, man, I respect that. I respect that 100%. But yeah, Paul Jones was a member before, and I think fell prey to the what do you call it? When your credit card number changes. I think that's what happened. I gotta take a little sip of coffee here. All right. Whew. Ginger Grave says, I was ready to hurt things, just trying to add a few roots to the bonsai tree I bought. I don't think I'm cut out to make one totally by hand. All right, I get it. I fully understand. Paul Jones says, good guess. I was the first one, but the dumb update. Well, now I'll be the first one today. Yeah. Yeah, I figured that's what it was. Because people drop off, and it's always strangely like right around the first, you know, and it's like, oh, man, my debit card expired or your credit card expired or whatever, you know. So I've definitely seen that happen, that's for sure. Tyrone Wiley says, I still can't post on Patreon. Help anybody. Yeah, I mean, go to the desktop, go to the community, and you can post. I'm confused how it could be having a problem. Maybe Alyssa can help you, or Mello or Candy or somebody. Bentley, would you mind emailing me my handle at Gmail with details? I've been looking for a while and really want some. Uh-oh, what does Bentley have? What's he raising? Let's see. Anyone with Blue Angels in Washington? Ooh, not bad. I'm trying to figure out a new fish that I want to bring in. But let's go to the video. Ah, come on, guys. I should have gone to the video a long time ago because it's kind of a long video. Is this the beginning? It didn't feel like the beginning. That feels like the beginning. Oh, there we go. If you guys aren't aware, this is my 150-gallon... This is my 150-gallon Aquascape I've been working on. I think this is one of the originals in the fish room since the move down here. So I've been messing around with this one for a while now. Some things are definitely getting overgrown. That is 100%. You know, look at this. Ludwigia here. It is out of control. Where's my arrow? I gotta find you guys. Those of you that love the arrow, I gotta find my arrow here. It's going the wrong way. We can't have the arrow going the wrong way. We got to make it go. Oh, there we go. Spin it around. Let's make it bigger. Whoop. Yeah. Big arrow. There we go. You can see how overgrown this is. This Ludwigia here is just a nightmare. And anybody that's wondering about this plant, yes, there is a feature video on this. So if you guys want to hear all about that plant, I don't want to double bore the people that have already watched the feature video, but you can watch that feature video if you want. One of the main reasons I'm having everything's getting overgrown is that I do have some new additions to this aquarium. I have some new stuff coming in. I thought initially it was going to be better for me to be on the right hand side, but I'm gonna move me over here to the left hand side. I'll move Olivia over this ding on my head. There we go. I'll move Olivia down here. A little Miss OJ. I gotta poke my eye. Come on now. Come on now. Poke the eye. Oh, while I was poking myself in the eye, I just remembered we do have some super chats I want to say thanks to real quick. Rumbust, thank you very much for the Swedish Crones 1784 super chat, my guy. Always supportive. This guy super chats me a cent for every day I've been sober. Look at that. That's next level. One of these days, I'm going to send him to the poorhouse. That's my goal. Jessica Gartner with the $2 vacation ending super chat. Whew. Vacation ending, back to work tomorrow. I wish I could almost feel bad for you, but it's like, I feel like you had a vacation, so that's still pretty good. You know what I mean? So it does suck to be going back to work tomorrow, but I almost feel like I'm at work like almost every day, so I'm kind of jealous of your just having a vacation in the first place, right? But I'm sorry you have to go back to work tomorrow. We all got to work. We all got to work. Don't I know it? Got to make that dollar. Got to dance for those Palmer Aquatic 99-cent super chats. Dance, boy! And the Fish Tank Barn with a $5 super chat for the tip jar. Happy April Fool's Day. I noticed the Fish Tank Barn Mike made it out to Aquashella. It looked like he had a great time. It looked like everybody had a great time at Aquashella, except for the people that were waiting in line. That looked a little rough. It looked a little bit rough. People kept saying it was cold out there, but I don't know. I think it was like 50 degrees. I think they were okay. Palmer Aquatics is asking, have you gotten the "we don't care about your daughter" comments yet? I scratched my head at them. No, I delete those people immediately. I don't care. I've had a lot of live streams where I've talked about personal interactions where people act like garbage to either me or my daughter, or Vicky or my daughter, or me, and it's pretty much that as far as I'm concerned. Tyrone Wiley, you're welcome. Look forward to seeing your post. Oh, so you guys got it figured out? Okay, good. I like that. Candy Overhauls posted a Fluval 3.0 link. Yes, definitely go buy all of the Fluval 3.0s. I'm back in a competition with Aqua Pros, so if you guys have some kind of shortage of lights and you get a whole bunch of tax money back or something, I don't know, go buy a bunch of 3.0 lights on the affiliate. Although I think the coolest thing that I got in right now is this little USB air pump. So cool. And check this out. I got this little tiny sponge filter, you guys. I got this little tiny sponge filter. Look at this. It's tiny. It's for a project that I'm working on. And yeah, needless to say, you guys will get to check that out. Not right now, but you'll get to check it out. Does this come off? There we go. Marvelous. Marvelous, you guys. It's going to be great. Am I excited? I don't know. Mildly excited. But I got these little USB air pumps, and they run on this little 5-volt, or what is it? I don't even think they're 5-volt. I think they're 2-volt, something like that. I don't know. I'll have to double check. Don't quote me on that. But these little USB air pumps, you know, and they're really cool. And I have a little project that's going to be perfect for this little project that I'm doing. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And I guess the tie-in there is I was talking about the Fluval 3.0s, and one of our Canadian friends from the north, Mr. Ryan himself, we were discussing about whether or not he thought, or he was asking me whether or not I thought that the Fluval 3.0s in actuality in real life were really worth it. And I was like, yeah, I really do. They just really are very effective. They work really well, have a lot of good features that I like. And him being in Canada, it's not even like I make a commission or anything like that. I was like literally just go get one, try it out. And he's just ranting and raving about how dope it was by the time he got it yesterday and was like freaking out. It is a big time game changer, if you are going from a different light, especially. I guess they'll be in store ready in about 3 months, but I'm sure a video will announce them. ZZ Stasis. It's a few hours away from the co-op. I would look into the wet spot if you're looking for those fish, especially if you're in Western Washington, Oregon, Idaho, yeah, especially those 3 states. I mean, 100%, because they can ship them out too, so I wouldn't worry about that. I don't know why I have the arrow on. I don't know. I think I was talking about something. I don't know. Arrow related. Let me turn that off. There we go. Let's see. Alyssa says I have 6 of those little tiny corner sponge filters, most of which are in a bucket on the porch right now. Only beef with them is that I couldn't get mine to stack very well. To stack? What do you need them to stack for? Oh. Do I have a 3.0 on the 125s? Yes, the 120s have 3.0s on them. The 240 has 3.0 on it. I bought one more to replace the last 2.0 that I had on the 240. So I bought the last one that I need, and I still haven't put it on there because it's sitting in the box like right next to it. I've just been so busy that I haven't swapped that one out yet. And the 2.0 is just turned off, so I'm like, no harm, no foul. And I'm reworking the 240 right now too, whenever I have spare time, which is a lot. So I'm working on the 240 to get that all on 3.0s, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I'm going to be rescaping the 240. I got a bunch of driftwood and stuff I'm going to be working with here pretty soon, which is going to be a lot of fun. That is going to be... Hopefully I can just be making videos about that for a little while and drive you all crazy up the wall with just how many driftwood videos I'm going to be making. But, that's just kind of how it goes sometimes when you're making something and it just has to, you just have to go that way, and you'll be like, hey, man, I just gotta make that. Just got to make that. Where's my coffee at? Got to get that coffee, Skins and Celtics fan is asking, is just one 3.0 enough for those tanks? Because I'm thinking really hard about swapping out the Ray 2. I did have just one over the 120, the 4-foot one, because it fits really well. And I think you could do a lot with one of them. I ended up putting 2 on each one and then turning them down just so I could get. I mean, I could have picked them up and lifted them up and left them at 100%, but then I get this beam of light right in my eye because I don't put hoods over my tanks. So I think if I had a hood on the tank and just lifted the light up, I would have gotten a lot better dispersion. But I ended up basically just tying 2 of them together. Putting one on the front and then one more towards the back just to get a better dispersion, and then I turned them way down. But yeah, you could easily run a 120 off one of the 48-inch 3.0s. Candy Overalls can't believe I just ripped out that huge plant. It doesn't even seem that huge to me, realistically. But yeah. Yep, that's what I do. have to move stuff around. The only downside is if you do typical gardening, you don't have to deal with getting dirt into the air like you do in an aquascape. You go pulling out plants and stuff in your garden, it doesn't cloud up your vision. You know what I mean? It doesn't make it all cloudy and crazy. You don't have to deal with all that, but it does in the aquascaping thing. So you do have to kind of walk away, come back, let it filter a little bit, kind of die back down when you're yanking out big and making big clouds like this. But that's life. That's life sometimes. Jonathan Antonio, how do you deal with diatoms? Mine seem to never go away. I honestly, with diatoms, that's just a phase of the system. So if you're, keeping up with your water changes and balancing it out, and if you're doing your water changes, you have some plants in there, and you have a healthy, if it's fully cycled, your nitrogen cycle is healthy and stuff like that, the diatoms will just go away, over time. But, I would just make sure you're doing your water changes, and eventually the diatoms will no longer persist. Bentley says it's too much phosphate from too much fish food, which is possible. If you're adding way too much fish food, you're going to be getting excess nutrients, that's for sure, kicking around in there. And, the system can't do much to filter that out ahead of the diatoms, because the diatoms will, they just reproduce super quick, so it's just kind of that deal. You should see the fields of Pogostemon erectus I have nowadays, saving it up for the AGA auction. I don't think I can put anything into the AGA auction, so yeah, I'm not saving anything for the AGA auction. Maybe I'll bring something up and just give it away. That's a good idea. That would be fun. That would just be fun to have some bag. Oh my gosh, this would be the most troll thing to do ever, but in a fun way. But I think it's just literally walk up to people that are really interested in a certain plant and be like, "Oh, you're really into that plant there?" And then just be like, "Oh yeah, I got this bag of it. Would you like it?" And they'd be like, "Oh my God, thank you." And I'd be saying, "No, don't say thanks to me. Say thanks to the internet." And it would completely weird them out because they probably have no idea who I am. And they'd be like, "Who are you? How do I contact you?" And I'd be like, "Contact Corey at aquariumcoop.com." That'd be fun. But I don't know. Maybe I'll try to pull that off. I don't know. I was messaging with a group today. Multi-Tank Addiction was asking if I was going to be at the AGA, because I was trying to ask what other YouTubers were going to be there, and he's the only one that answered. So he was like, "Man, I'll be there if you're going to be there." I'm like, "I'm for sure going to be there. We're getting a sitter together and all that. I'm going to have Samantha come over to help Vicky while I'm up there at the AGA, because I think I'm going to be there for all 3 days, or maybe it's 10 days long. I'm not sure how long it is, but it's pretty long. I'm going to be up there, so, going to be incurring a little babysitting cost, but I think it's well worth it to be able to go, especially to the AGA. That's Aquatic Gardeners Association is awesome, and I'm not even promoting it because it's sold out. If you ain't got tickets, you could get on the waiting list. Got a notification from them yesterday, I think, that said, "We all sold out, bros. Stop trying to buy tickets because you can't." So it's all sold out. Gonna be fun. Gonna be a blast. Gonna be a bunch of fish, or plant nerds. That's gonna be the cool thing. I really wonder if I'm gonna run into too many plant nerds, and I'm gonna end up getting super exhausted. I'm wondering if I might end up getting super exhausted from dealing with them. But Dragonda Armstrong says, "I can see why you wouldn't make it in retail." I'd give it all away for free. Yeah, I mean, trust me, I've done plenty of retail, and I've done all that stuff. Like I said, I spent many years being a chef, and trying to moderate with customers and people that are super pissed and all that kind of stuff. I spent years and years doing that, and I'm not interested in doing that anymore. The one thing that I would say that might come from the Makerspace, whatever you want to call it, I think the Makerspace is kind of a good, kind of a catch name to it, because that's sort of kind of what the vision is, you know what I mean? And maybe I'll be able to rent out some spaces there. Maybe that'd be the one thing, because my idea is to build out a sound stage, So build the walls. So make them like a boat slip, but with walls. So they have power and water and all that kind of stuff to be able to do the water changes and stuff and film right in there. So you'd have isolated sound. You have like really good lighting, all that kind of stuff on every tank. So they're nice and isolated. That's kind of my idea with that. I think the one thing that I might, if I do set that up and it does work out and it does turn into something, the main thing that I think do is, I think the only thing that I would do is sell the whole tanks as a setup. So if somebody wanted to buy this whole entire setup, they could. And I think that would be like the only thing that would have a price tag on it. I mean, it's like, if the tank is $1,500 and the stand is $500 and all the stuff that's in it's $1,000 and I put a $1,500 worth of work into it and then the lights are this much, like, I mean, you could literally just go like, yeah, this setup here is $5,000. Like if somebody wants to buy it right now, or you could start to learn how to build your own one. I don't know. I think that's probably the only thing that I would really have up for sale is that. If that was the case and somebody really wanted to commission one, then maybe it'd be like, oh, yeah, you could half down. So we'll set up the tank, get it running for you, run it, grow it out, get it ready, and move it over like how all the tanks were done at Inner Zoo. That was one of those things that was really cool about It was one of the things that was really cool about Inner Zoo. That convention, you go there, the tanks are all grown in. You know what I'm saying? The tanks weren't just aquascape by somebody in 20 minutes. They threw some driftwood in there, they poked some plants in, and then they filled it up with water. Where a lot of conventions that you go to, most of the tanks are like that. Inner Zoo was decidedly different. The Inner Zoo was decidedly different because all of the tanks were mature. And one of the guys I talked to there, I was asking him how long they've been growing. One of the big tanks that was there, I think it was something like, I don't know, how many liters was it? I think they said it was 1,600 liters. Or maybe it was 2,600 liters. I don't know. It was a big, big, big tank, right? And it was elevated up, so you were like looking into it, right? It was a big, 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 big tank, and we were wondering, like, I was like, how long has this tank been set up for? And they were like, oh, 1.5 years, And so it was like, oh, that's why this tank is awesome, because it's completely grown in, unlike most of the tanks you see at conventions where it's just like, oh, somebody just stuck the plants in there, and, that kind of deal. Jason Corley says, hello, just wanted to say that your artwork is amazing, buddy. I know it's off topic, but I just had to say thanks. Yeah, man. I would love to be doing more artwork. I'm way too busy for paintings these days, and to be real honest with you guys, like most people don't want a commission painting, they just don't. Most people just don't want a commission painting, and one of the biggest deals with that is if you talk to them about how much it's going to cost to design it, do the layout, make it exactly what they want, give them the opportunity to make changes, any of that kind of stuff, and you explain to them, it's like, yeah, it's probably going to take me a week to do that, and to paint the thing, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm like, oh, it's $2,500 for a painting, they're like, I could give you $200, which is fine. I mean, I'm not mad at anybody because of their own budgetary limitations, but that's just a reality these days. So I just don't do that many paintings anymore. I really don't. I would love to be doing some more. Just busy, just super busy. Got a freaking baby over here right now. As soon as I'm done being busy doing this, I got to start editing, try and get a video up for you guys tomorrow. Sitter leaves at 5, so good luck with that. I'll probably be up till midnight tonight, editing and stuff, so it's pretty much never ending. My fish room needs attention. I need to do I need to mix and do a water change on my reef. And I don't think that's going to happen today. It's probably going to have to wait until Wednesday. And Big D Smoke says a lot of people are so cheap. I don't think it's a cheapness thing. I think it's either like a limitation of your budget or, the market just isn't there. You know what I mean? So, I think it's just the market doesn't exist. And I think one of the big reasons that the market doesn't exist is because of digital media. You know what I mean? Like, people could go onto Instagram right now and just type in like fish art and just scroll until it's time to go to bed. And even if you go to bed at midnight, you could just keep scrolling on Instagram, right, through fish art or plant art or landscape art or zebra art. I mean, you could type whatever into Instagram and just keep scrolling forever, and you'll see all this art, and that's that's really the deal. You know what I mean? Like that you see all this art, but then it doesn't have a big value for most people at that point. Oh man, Aquascapes Oregon is here. So what's up, Joel? This is Andrew from Aqua Serene. Thanks for the shout outs last time. What's up, man? Ooh, I can't wait to hang out with Andrew again. I don't know if you guys know, but he's got those Super Baller ADA the tongs, and he did get back to me. He let me know that the ADA tongs are only $80, you guys. So keep that in mind. The planting tongs are only $80. So if you are interested in getting those tongs, I don't even know where you can buy them because you can't get them on the internet. You can get them at Aqua Serene. They actually have them in stock. They have a pair in there for you. The scissors are $150. I just about crapped an egg when I mean, I knew they were expensive. I just was not expecting $150. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just buy the cheap generic ones normally. I got these Aqua Vitro ones while I was there. Where did they go? Hold on. Where did my tongs go? Well, they may be lost, guys. I had them right here. Well, I did find cookies, so not all is lost, you guys. I don't know what I did with them. I had them right here, and they seem to be lost now. But I got the Aqua Vitro tongs there. They're pretty good. I'm happy with those. I thought I had a pair in here still, and I got one of the weird super slanty ones. I got those ones off of Amazon, but I got the tongs there at Aqua Serene. I'm pretty happy with them. They're pretty nice. They're like a little bit of a step up from the generic ones. And I think they were like, instead of $5, they were $10 or something like that, $11. But I was real happy with those, and yeah, I'm definitely eating cookies on my live stream here. Ooh, James Reet wants to do a half-sleeve tattoo with freshwater fish and plants. That's the idea of fish and plant art. Yeah, I'd probably do that. I'd be down for something like that. I want to get a beta. I definitely want to get a beta. Probably some shrimp and probably some plants. Something like that. Probably on my left arm someday. I don't know. I have so many tattoos that it's just sort of like, I don't know. I almost just am like, yeah. Yep, tattoos, I guess. I don't know. You know. Let's see. Jen Raffaele setting up a new 40-gallon long tank built into the desk. Suggestions for more plants for a community of Hygrophila. And I think that's supposed to be a Nubius. And another stem and Java moss growing out right now, I would go into Aquarium Co-op and look through any of the plants on Aquarium Co-op, and you will probably be in good luck. One of the qualifiers that Corey has on there is, or one of the qualifiers that Corey has on Aquarium Co-op is that those plants, A, are available, B, they've had them for some period of time or whatever, and C, what did I say was A? I don't know. Whatever I was trying to list off, I don't make those rules, so let me backpedal here a little bit. The plants on Aquarium Co-op are going to be what are considered a high success rate plant. So, you think of it this way, like if you get the black heirloom tomatoes, like you might do all right. You know what I mean? Your garden might do all right with the black heirloom tomatoes. You might get a few off of there. You might do fine. Or you could have a bunch of problems with them. But if you decided to plant the... Whoa. Whoa. Wrong pipe. The GMO Roma tomatoes. You probably have more tomatoes than you know what to do with by the end of the summer, right? Whoa. That went completely down the wrong pipe. I might die. Whoa. But same kind of, that kind of deal there. One of the reasons... So Aquarium Co-op carries... let me get my arrow back here. Let's see. There's my arrow. So Aquarium Co-op carries all of these crypts back in here. The Wendetti eyes. So these crypts here. These crypts over here. Yes, he carries the Wendetti eyes. These crypnuri that are right down here with these crazy leaves and stuff, he doesn't carry those for two reasons. They don't ship very well. They kind of die in shipping. Like, they just don't ship well. And then the other reasoning is they don't reproduce very quickly. So people have a real, problem when they're like, yeah, they're in there, but like I only just have this one. I don't know what's wrong. And so people get discouraged. And then they start sending in emails and they wonder what's going on and all that kind of stuff. And they start freaking out. And, so it's just a plant that's more difficult. You have to have a lot of patience with it. So instead of selling that, they'll sell some crypts that work really well for people. So that, instead of people getting discouraged and having problems and stuff like that, they get encouraged and they keep doing what they're doing. Now, this spiky plant right here, this is a pogostemon, but so is this long spiky plant that's right behind it, right over here. That's a pogostemon stellatus octopus in the back, because it's like an octopus because it has these really long, like octopus-like tendrils on it, right? And this pogostemon erectus, they're in the same family. Yes, they're different subfamily, whatever the name is. I'm losing it. Category 5, whatever. They're in the same family. They're cousins. Let's just keep with that terminology, right? This plant is a cousin to the one that's behind it, right? But the pogostemon erectus is only really around a short period of time out of the year, coming from the wholesaler guys and stuff like that. And, so around springtime is when you can kind of get it from wholesalers and things. But it does not ship well. It's another plant that doesn't ship very well. So there's a possibility that you ship this from, like, say, my house in Western Washington to Brunswick, New Jersey, right? Sits in the mail, goes through all these crazy temperatures, falls off a truck, gets picked back up, have some slight problems and things, and it gets there, and then it melts, and it's just dead, and then nobody's happy, So that's one of the reasons that you wouldn't find this plant at the Aquarium Co-op is because it just doesn't ship well enough to handle flying around the country all the time. Alyssa says family, genus, species. There we go. I was trying to think of genus, if I was right or not. The section 5 is genus. So, but yeah, different species, same genus. Let's see. Oh, Grombool's here. What's up? Good to see you. Gerardo Rivera, what's up? James Reet agrees with genus. Yeah. I get lost sometimes, you guys. Oh, we are an hour and 10 minutes in. I don't know if I can have a perfect track record in an hour and 10 minutes of talking nonstop. Hamizan Yassin says, why is my Ludwigia palustris old leaves always goes black and new leaves curl downwards too much? Let me think here. Well, you definitely have a deficiency going on. Bentley says a calcium deficiency. That's probably a thing. I'd really wonder what you're doing fertilizer-wise, as far as what fertilizer you have going in, what's your light cycle like. It's another one of those problems. Is one of the things I was trying to talk about when I was at the Willamette Valley Aquatic Society, was trying to illustrate carrying the knowledge of your system around and knowing what you can change and what you can't change. Writing things down, testing your water, knowing what's going on, and keeping a good track record of what's going on. So when it does come time to make some changes, because you might have something going on with your plants, I'm going to have stuff going on with my plants because I'm going to have disturbed the system. I'm going to have changed some of the, what's pulling from the water column, what's not pulling from the water column. I've got the stuff that is, there are changes going on in the system, so I have to be ready to handle that. I have to be ready to handle some of the changes here. I got to be ready with the water change and redose some fertilizers, make sure my lights are correct as we transition and add some more plants and stuff like that. And if I'm not keeping track of any of that, it doesn't really do much for me 5 years down the road because, I could remember it this week. Yes, I could definitely remember it this week, but a year from now, like what happened in April 1st, 2019, it's like, I don't know, bunch of fish tank stuff. It all runs into a blur for sure, so that's one of those big things to, to be kind of like writing down that stuff and moving forward, because then you can really know to track as to like what changes could be made. It's like, oh, I bumped up Easy Green from, 5 pumps to 6 pumps. And, I brought my light intensity up from 80 to 95, right? And I dropped the hours from 10 down to 8 or something, right? So you can know what's changes you're making, so that as you make subtle changes moving forward, that you don't either make super dramatic changes that really screw things up, but you also can handle those subtle changes pretty easily. I'm sorry, baby's crying and it distracts me. I hope she's okay, but she's with Sam, so she'll be fine. I know Sam's been taking her on walks today because she's like, she has a good time when she's on walks, and I will admit, she does have a really good time when you take her out on a walk because she's like looking around. Are you guys okay? I can hear her out there. Well, yeah. So it's one of those things I was trying to hammer home at the Willamette Valley meeting and whatnot, is to like kind of write this stuff down so you can really keep track of it, and then as you're moving forward, you can really make some subtle changes and things and know what's happening. So you might have calcium deficiency, but you'd want to know. You'd want to know like, oh, I brought the calcium up for 2 weeks, and then my new growth is doing this. Cheshire Cat got fish from Petco yesterday, and I think I was ripped off. In store, I did calculations, but at checkout, paid 2 to 3 times what I expected. Wonder if I was charged for the wrong fish. 100%. 100% charge for the wrong fish. Go back to Petco and raise hell. For sure. I'm scrolling through the chat. Joel G says there's an extension to it which further refines creativity. Goes from like 1 to 5, and the questions are like, have had art displayed in a public gallery, etc. Which have you done? Oh, I don't know what this test is he's talking about. Very exciting, though. Some people were mentioning, though, in the earlier chat, I think got missed, but they're talking about how, you know, the idea of this new project that I'm thinking about doing is sort of like, you know, for lack of a better term, like an art gallery. But it's more of a working space, and I think a makerspace is kind of the real way to do it. Is that, yeah, you got some stuff on display, but people are working on stuff. It's an opportunity for people to come by and like workshop certain things. You know, and I think it's more like, and you know, I hate to put it this way because it sounds super boring, but it's like a quilters club kind of thing. You know what I mean? Have you ever been to like a yarn shop with everybody, like they kind of show up there and they're doing their quilting thing, and they're like darning and doing all that kind of stuff, and then they have a bunch of like cool quilts on display and things, but minus the retail side. Let's see. Hamazan has a 10-gallon tank currently using 3 pumps, 88 minerals, 88 iron, 88K. Light is a Phoenix Planet Plus on 70% for 6.5 hours. Yeah, I mean, so like we have a good idea of some of the stuff that's going on in your tank, but we don't know if we have CO2. We don't know what your tap water's like. We don't know what your temperature is. Like, there's just a lot of variables that kind of go in when you're trying to decipher what could be wrong. And that's a lot of information. That's more information than most people give out. But I also don't remember what the ADA minerals are or their iron. So, you know, I'd really have to, like, go look those up to see kind of what was going on and what you could change, what you could be doing. I would probably look up the EI dosing, but in a 10-gallon tank to really get balanced with plants and things like that, it does take quite a bit of time, honestly, and it's one of the harder things about a nano tank. And somebody in the earlier chat was asking if I have any nano tanks. Currently, I do not, but for many, many, many years, I was running boatloads of nano tanks. I have switched out from doing nano tanks because I don't think it's a good long-term thing for me to be working on a ton of little tiny projects. Though this little sponge filter is for a little tiny project that will be upcoming, so I can show you guys how to do that and that kind of stuff. All right, guys. It looks like everybody's winding down. We haven't even had any real comments in the last whatever. People's not even commenting anymore. So it looks like everybody's getting tired. Everybody's having a case of the Mondays, and we don't have any super chats or new members or anything. So okie dokie, already chokey. Get it rolling out for the end of the day. It's almost 5:30. Or it's almost 4:30, sorry. It's almost 4:30 p.m., so I might as well just get back to doing what I'm doing and get rocking and rolling here and move on with the day. I got to go wire some outlets and hang some wallboard for the new studio downstairs. So that's an ongoing project, and yes, I am upcycling as much leftover materials and stuff like that we have. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. And super chats like the Fish Tank Barn and Jessica Thiegartner, Paul Jones, welcome back to the membership. Palmer Aquatics 2 times, thanks my guy. And Rumbust, thank you very much. And if we could find out if CJ Black has hidden the button one more time, I'm about to freak out and click it with the mouse. Later.